I'm here with bead designer Allie Buchman, and today we are talking about Czech beads. There are so many different shapes.
There are so many different shapes. Really, in the last 2 years, it's been amazing transformation for the different shapes, the number of holes that the shapes are coming in, and I think it's really transformed the bead weaving world.
Well, it gives you a whole different palette.
It does, and it forces you out of your comfort zone, so it really kind of makes you creative, even if you don't think you are.
And you're the designer of some of these shapes.
Yeah, that is the best part for me, is that I get to actually sit down with the mold people and make the molds and tweak it and say, this is exactly how this will be used, and this is the design that would be great, and this is what's missing from the market.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it's a great opportunity and so much fun.
Oh, good. Well, let's take a look at some of the shapes.
So a lot of the shapes that we've created are those two-hold shapes because it makes it easy for designing and for the speed of designing. So one of our shapes that we've worked on is the disc duo. So this is a 6mm bead that is two-hold. So it almost looks like a little piece of candy almost. And it has two holes that are perfectly positioned to line up with a lot of the other two-hold beads. So you can use them in conjunction with other beads that were already on the market maybe a year earlier or so, like the bar bead or the brick bead in essence. You can also use them to kind of fill in gaps. Another change in addition to the different shapes in those two-hold is the finishes that are coming out. Traditionally, you think of Czech glass, you think of shiny and sparkly and almost diamond looking. Now in the Czech glass, they're really following the fashion trends. I was there recently, and most of them had the fashion brochures out on the counters, looking at those fashion brochures, seeing what's hot and what the finishes are. And because of technology today, you're really getting an opportunity to see those finishes on the beads that may not have been available to do years ago when they were popular.
I love the way that you combine different shapes in this one.
Yeah, so when I start designing and creating, I often start with one single bead. I'll start with that bead and create and design, and then you start throwing in other beads. It's almost like a bead challenge. You get your beading kit together and you say, okay, let me throw this bead in, see what happens. Let me throw this bead in or take that bead out and see what happens as well. So not only do you get the effect of that disc duo bead, but now with the technology of the coating and really the precision of making and manufacturing in the Czech Republic, we have the Ava Bead, which is this V-shaped bead, get the AVA, and that's how we got the name for the Ava Bead. And this was a long bead to figure out how to produce. It's actually hand-produced. You can, check out how it's actually made and hand-produced, and it's an amazing task, amazing labor of love that they do. And you think, oh, I get to design with this, I get to create with this, and somebody's sitting there and designing the bead.
And it really gives you that chevron effect without very much work.
It does, and that's, again, the whole idea of that two-hold shape and that two-hold revolution. You're getting that look and that design quickly. We live in a very, very fast-paced world, and I think people love the art, love the design, but they do want to have fun creating and making with different shapes in a timely fashion. Just like the Ava bead, too, you have that Arcos bead. So the Arcos bead is one that's an arched bead. It gives you from going that lines and that chevron look to a nice kind of smooth, and the Arcos bead has that look.
It just reminds me of macaroni.
It does a little bit, but you have to use it.
In the best possible way.
Yeah, in the best possible, in the tastiest possible way.
Right.
And color combinations and figuring out exactly how to combine it with the beads are really what's going to change the look that it's creating.
Well, and you can see on those two pieces, the bracelets, there's the matched silver and the shiny silver, and it really does give it a different look.
Yeah, it does, and that's, again, that finish process, along with the shapes, is going from having a crystallized look on everything to having that more modern and a little bit more rustic look.
Right, a little more urban.
Correct.
So this shape right here, what's this one called?
This one's called the Iris Duo, so it kind of has that eye shape to it. And the Iris Duo is another two-hold bead, flat on one side, rounded on the other. And you can use it, just like this is actually just peyote in its own form. Throw in a little bit of crystals, and like this brooch here, you can make it and have fun creating and getting a substantial piece in a really short amount of time.
It makes it really sculptural.
It does, yeah, and it makes it very easy to do three-dimensional pieces, which really kind of ups the game when it comes to bead weaving in the bead weaving world.
Let's take a look at this necklace too. That's the same.
So the necklace there is produced also with the Iris Duo bead, and then there's also some disc duos in there creating the bezel, which bezeling traditionally, if you have delicas, it takes you a long time to do each individual component.
Sure.
With these Czech glass beads, you're able to do this craft and this art in a quick form, in a fun dimensional form, with these beads, creating that bezel and creating the setting.
So it's really about the size, the shape, and the finish.
Oh, it totally is, yeah. And that size and shape and finish can lead to all different scales of big jewelry, small jewelry. I tend to make things a little bit more wearable.
Yeah, I love this piece here. It's so colorful and fun.
Yeah, that is a great example too of the color trends. So that's a color trend piece almost, that those beads were specifically created and the colors were created for the fashion line. And those crescent beads, that's a natural shape that you're going to put them in. They look like orange slices, and that natural shape of putting them together is really so fun and easy.
I love it too. And that piece in the front really incorporates a lot of different beads. I didn't realize that daggers come with 2 holes.
Yeah, so that necklace is called the curtain call necklace. It reminds me of, you know, getting the old mixed with the new. There's Zoli duos in there, which are actually 2-sided, one right, one left, going in with 2-holed cabs. So again, it's scaling that and doing the color versus the size of those 2-holed beads, and the 2-holed beads allowing you to get that artistic flow really simply and really easily.
Well, and you can do traditional stitches, and they look so different depending on what type of beads you use.
Right, you take a pair of a needle and, you know, stitch and do regular peyote. It looks totally different versus having the kite beads here, which is a new kite bead, new shape, just came to the market in different colors, is going to make you have that look. The same exact stitch done with different beads is going to give you that 3-dimensional look again. So you really control the size of your piece, the look of your piece, with the bead shape that you're creating.
It's fantastic. I think it takes it to a whole new level.
It does.
And this is a herringbone stitch,
yeah,
right?
So this is a herringbone stitch. So that's my favorite stitch, that if I have any stitch to pick from, I love the herringbone stitch. And this is with ruler beads. Again, you just do one simple row of herringbone, and that's a great beginner thing too. These 2-holed beads really are great to teach for beginners because you naturally have another hole to go to. You're not necessarily adding beads right away. You can know where to step up, and you know how to kind of get your friends on the beading train.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this necklace and bracelet set here.
So the necklace and bracelet set, a lot of these 2-hole beads that are coming to the market are going to be the focus. However, there's other beads that really are kind of the back players. I like to think of them as the building blocks or the Legos, that you're building on top of these pieces and using the beads, like these are the brick beads, you're using those to create your building blocks that you can then add the crystals in and do it in a really timely fashion and get that nice artistic flair with different colors.
Well, those are beautiful with the crystals in the center too. Tell us about the necklace.
So the necklace itself here is also one of the 2-hole beads. Those are the round duo beads. The round duo beads, again, show that sculptural side to it, that you get the shape and you get the dimension with that easy stitching. So that's a 2-hole round bead that I had the pleasure of kind of designing and coming up with and playing with that bead to give it the more kind of modern look with that tassel. The tassels are really in right now fashion-wise. Hanging a tassel on it and doing that simple project, I sat down and did that in about 20 minutes the other day. Just to do with an outfit. So you think, oh, I've got new clothes, let me go ahead and do this fast thing to do an outfit with it.
And it looks like you used the round beads on the bracelets as well.
Yeah, so the round duo beads were used and round trio as well. So these are the round duo beads and the round trios that are faceted also. Again, building that sculptural design, making it 3-dimensional, yet still having that traditional seed beaded look, which really can kind of up the game when it comes to that seed beading world.
And what about the clasps? Those are really beautiful.
So the clasps were actually the first thing that I was able to design in conjunction with the manufacturers at the Czech Republic. And these actually are based on an antique button that I found in an antique store in the Czech Republic, took it to a manufacturer and said, can you do this? And they really, I've heard great things from customers as far as taking them on and off. It's not that traditional metal, so it's really great.
Right, and so you can use that to create that button closure.
Correct.
Or you can make earrings. Those would be cute too.
Yeah, I wear those a lot.
I bet. All right, well, thank you so much, Allie. This has been really educational and fun.
Thank you so much for having me.